We are rolling.
Come on, do your spiel, brother. Do your spiel.
So,
Eddie
all right. the Joey Accardi spiel. All right,
Eddie is dad. Whoops.
Yeah,
shows how old I am.
That's okay. What's up?
How's it going?
It's
Life
going
is
good.
Grand, brother. Life is
Happy to
grand.
be here.
Yeah, so Mike's on the show for the first time. You're a veteran, right?
Yep.
Just call you co-host at this point, right?
There's a few of them you've done. I wouldn't mind being a co-host on, though. A few of these things I'd like to co-host with you on.
Yeah, well, you're here like every other episode, so yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a
All
few
right.
of them that are interesting.
All right, well, then come in.
All right.
We got Paul Castronovo next week.
That's not the gender
do.
I was talking about.
No, so, no, we'll definitely. Well, we got our celebrity bartender position over there, so we're going to have to
I
find
like that
someone,
idea.
not you, but find someone to go there every week, so.
I'll go there from time to time. That
Will
sounds
you?
like fun. Yeah.
All right, Jenny wants to go there too. So she keeps, but I told her she's not allowed to talk about the Buffalo Bills. So welcome, gentlemen, to the Connected by Water podcast presented by Joey Accardi, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and fueled by our good friends at Papa's Pilar Rum. Right. So we're here today with Mike Lamb, the owner of the Island Rover, and you guys fished on that boat.
Partners in the Native Son.
Partners in Native
Yeah.
Son, and you guys fished on as Team Native Son, Island Rover /
Yep.
Island Rover
Mhm.
for this tournament. And Art, you did your magic once again. Well, yeah, I know. But, you know.
Dude, that's the one problem with this whole deal is we've got an enormous team.
Clarify it for me then.
Yes, we got an enormous team.
You had an all-star team on.
We do,
Yeah, you
and
do.
that's kind of
Yeah.
part of the deal is, you develop that team, and that was our previous successes in years past. We built a team. First couple of years, struggled a little bit, and then it became what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we are right now. First couple of years, we struggle a little bit, and then just always learning. We'll be learning till the end of it all. But we're at a point right now where we've gelled quite well, and I think the perfect example is that is going from the boat we've been tournament fishing now for the last 3 years, and then jump the very next day to a boat we've only fished on 6 times, and the success is still the
Some
same.
guys only fished on once.
Once, yes, that
One
was
time.
Because some of them, it was their
first time
day
ever
on the
being
boat.
on that boat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Really?
Very
Really?
good point.
Yeah.
God, that boat's beautiful.
Oh,
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, dream come true for me.
Yeah. No, I mean, a dream come true for everybody if that ever happens to them. I mean, that
doesn't to
thing's just an
most.
epic vessel. I mean, so it's for those of you that don't know that are watching and listening, you recently purchased a 58 Merit, a 1998 58 Merit.
I did.
It is a classic vessel, but I stepped onto that thing after the Cove tournament, and you would never think that this thing's over 20-something
22,
years
yeah.
old. I mean,
Three.
it looks like a brand new
Yeah.
boat. I
20,
mean,
20, going on 23 years.
it's a masterpiece.
It's, I mean, I think that's one of the cool thing about this weekend for me is, like, I think we got to fish on 2 of the finest sport fish boats available. I mean, I think CV makes, one of the best outboards out there.
The best.
I think the best.
I think the best, and I think, I think the Merit yacht is, just it's a work of art, but it's also, I mean, it's a technology for a 1998 boat. I mean, that boat's carbon Kevlar, Corcel. You look at it; it's not stress cracked, and it's it's 23 years old, and it's just. I mean, I still pinch myself. Like, you get off a quad engine 39 CV onto a 58 Merit, and you're like,
It's amazing, and it was cool in the Cove tournament that you had Roy fish with you.
That was very
Yeah,
cool.
that was. I mean, I'm sure that was a special moment. You know, what
That
I
was
mean?
my son's first tournament.
Oh, was his first one?
The first time he'd ever been on the boat for a tournament, and then Roy's grandson was with us, so it was just kind of a cool to take
The
the
whole
boat.
vibe.
Yeah, the whole thing was just it was. I mean, that's tournament fishing is about an experience, and it's about replicating that experience, and to it has to have some meaning too. Like, it's not just grinding out to get a check. Not for me.
Right.
No.
And it's not for art.
No, I say it repeatedly, which is stupid because I say it to my customers on the charter boat. I'm the world's worst businessman. 90% of the time, I'm having more fun than you. And then in the tournament thing, I'm not here to make money. I'm here for a trophy. I want to win. Now, you can't survive if you don't make a living, so
Right.
you kind of try to figure out a way to do that. But it's truly about the win.
No, it's about the win for sure. I know that about you. You definitely, and that definitely is the truth. However, I will say one thing: that was quite the payday.
Whew.
I
was
mean,
nice.
I mean, when I was looking at even online, I'm like, and I went and I looked at the Calcuttas, and I'm like, wow, Yeah, and I saw the final number, and that was like the biggest payday that the Sailfish Challenge ever
for
had.
that challenge,
right?
for that tournament.
Yeah, that's congratulations, guys. Really, truly.
Thanks.
You know,
Yay.
Yeah,
Cheers.
definitely. So, real quick, shameless plug here, because you mentioned the CV boat. I want to just say, go to cvboats.com right now. Check out their shop, because I just designed an all-new line of apparel for CV, right? That
nice.
is up on their
I
site
saw, I
right
saw
now.
the image
Yep.
on Facebook.
Yeah, so I designed a whole new line of apparel for CV that they're selling it as the Friel collection online. So go to, it's actually shop.cvboats.com.
That's the thing that makes your podcast deal here, the Connected by Water, so legitimate, is that, I mean, we're buddies, and so many of the rest of it, and CV and with the relationship I've had with them now for, 15 years. I mean, it's all connected by that beautiful blue ocean out there, sometimes green and
sometimes dirty.
brown. But
Sometimes
it's all that
rough.
saltwater.
Yeah.
Frequently rough, man. What the
Frequently
hell?
rough. Yeah.
So speaking of rough, all right, it was rough during this tournament. All right, so let's take me through a little bit of the details for this tournament. I mean, obviously there was pre-fishing involved, and it was a 2-day tournament. So give me some of the details just to tell the story here.
Did we pre-fish?
I think you guys went out a little bit.
For an hour there, Thursday
yeah,
afternoon.
yeah, just to look at the water.
Yep, just kind of looking right out front there Thursday afternoon for a little bit. So Mike and I have been talking about it for a while, and we've talked about it for years now. And the discussion is constantly big boat, small boat, who performs better in tournaments, and is it the people, is it the boat? And I think it's a lot of both. And Mike and I have discussed it a lot. I think he's because the thing is we've had a lot of success on those extremely rough, extremely windy days on the center console. But every time we do, and you look at the leaderboard, everybody else is a big boat.
Mm-hmm.
So and then we've failed miserably on some of those horribly rough days, and failed miserably far fewer times on 20 knots or less of wind in the small boats. In the small boat, a 40-foot boat is now a small boat, but it is.
Right.
And really, it's weight.
Well, I mean, compared
weight.
to that big merit.
I think it's weight. I really believe it's weight more than it is size, and you get weight with size. So, and how much you're affected by 30 knots of wind, and even 25 knots of wind. That's kind of my breaking point. Where, at the end of a 25 knot day, you're fatigued somewhat from being tossed around a bit, but you're really fatigued from sawing on that wheel and clutching and just trying to hold. Because there's a whole bunch of little tricks to try to get bit doing the kite fishing thing, and a lot of it has to do with what the boat's doing. And on those windier days, it's so exhausting just trying to present.
Yeah.
Whereas it's not the same with the big boat. The big boat kind of sits, it handles it better.
It matters on 2-day tournaments too, big time. That second day, like if it's really, really rough for 2 days in a row, I mean, you definitely feel physically better on a sport fish. Midway through that second day than you do on the center console.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
But
I mean, when we get done with the tournament, the next day, I'm dead.
yeah,
I'm still tired.
yeah, bet.
And I think if you're doing it right, you should be.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, yesterday I was just,
yeah.
it's just you're just beat up. I mean,
I tell my wife that when I'm like, oh, I'm fishing a tournament this weekend. She's like, all right, see you Monday. Because she knows Sunday, it's like I'm not even going to be there.
yeah, stand up with a Bosu ball like this for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Staring.
Yeah. And for me, the mental,
man.
the exhaustion of it. These people talk about how doctors and lawyers and whatever, and mental workers are so physically or mentally and physically exhausted because of that. That's my moment of understanding that, and at the end of a tournament, because it's all tournaments really are to me is good and bad decisions, and then doing the things you know how to do to get bit, but there's decisions between that put you in the right place to get bit, and those are the mentally taxing parts of it, and it's all day long, because once you find a condition and a situation that will get you bit, doesn't mean it's going to be that way for the whole day. It's all right, we're in it, take advantage of it and grind, and we're going to put a video up at the end of this thing that exemplifies it.
Yeah, right.
I don't stop grinding for half a second through the day. You can't.
Well, I think it's like we just talked about this before
Yeah,
the
the
show.
one I
With
showed
you're
you.
on the keep
44
fishing.
seconds left.
40
I don't care. Grind, baby. This
We
ain't
just
over yet.
Fishing.
Just won the daily 6 fish lead in the tournament. The second place boat has 8 fish. We have 44 seconds left, and we're kind of celebrating. And all you hear in the background is Art going, "Keep fishing, keep." so Jim Steele apparently looks at Jim DeMarco and says, "I got 44 seconds. What do I do?" And Jim DeMarco's like, "I got a bait out. Just look busy."
Yeah, just look busy.
You know why he said that? He wanted to get the bite. He didn't want
Yeah,
somebody
he
else to have a
wanted to-
bait
yeah,
out there
yeah,
because we
right.
instead
There
of
were
him.
fish. Like, I mean,
We were in some shit.
Yeah.
So you got did you got 7 fish on the second day?
Yeah.
Did you go 7 for 7?
Kind of, but no.
Kind of a no.
Yeah, I mean, in the middle of that melee at the end there, we were perfect until the very end there in that melee. And literally, like you said, there's less than 5 minutes left in the
Yeah.
tournament. And,
You need 2. Get the 2.
well, we
Right.
got bit on the left long. It mowed down the left middle and short because the thing went offshore and the kite was sagging. We were fishing Cat 5s all day long, and they were acting funky.
It was like
really
one of those
hard.
days when kite was really low.
Well, it was flying great, and then all of a sudden it's still blowing 30-plus knots, and the damn thing decides, I'm going to lay over here a little lower, and it was maybe 25 feet off the water.
Yeah.
So when that fish went offshore, we couldn't lift those 2 baits, and we knew how important it was, so just mow those 2 down, and let's get after that one. And then as I'm moving on that fish, another couple show up on the right long, right middle. Well, we hadn't seen a multiple all day, so while you're always expecting and hoping, I don't think the mental side of us was there for that. It was, let's get this one and then work to get another one. And they showed up, and some weird shit went down there as we were twisted up, so it was hard to come tight on them. And they both spit before we really got tight on them. And as they're coming back, there's fish chasing them, and another one shows up on the right short as we're just getting the release on this one. So it all worked out.
Yeah.
But we're down 2 baits at that point, so we got 2 spinners that can go in, and that's all I'm thinking is. And we'd had some kings airing out, some jumbo kings in 200-plus foot of water. So I mean, there was
why
some
you win,
stuff
Art.
going
This
down.
is why you win.
But
Well, there was-
but for 2 hours before that,
It was
it was rough, and we had it wasn't a rigging failure. It was just when you're fishing in that kind of weather, stuff breaks,
Yeah.
and we worked through a pretty hard hour and a half of just.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and I laugh when Art says all-star cast of fishermen because I mean, most of the guys on our boat are business owners. Like we're not, we're not like out there fishing.
Yeah.
We're not, we don't fish it 5 days a week. So, but I think that
But
does
it's
help
3
us.
years in. It's
Yeah,
3
it's 3
years
years
in now.
But
It's a tight knit group, though.
I think it helps us
There's
though
lots of
because
chemistry.
because we're because we're business owners, we're maybe used to like being kind of in control of our emotions and working through things. So I would say as a group, we don't get discouraged when stuff goes down. We just work through it. And so, what we lack in fishing talent, not him, but like me, maybe we make up in just grit.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that angling in itself, I think, is a level-headed discipline. Really, with listening to yourself, listening to the fish. You know what I mean? Trying to stay like just focused and not too emotional. I think I think that's really the biggest trick to angling. In
Staying
a
calm.
nutshell, is staying calm,
calm.
staying calm, and staying smart.
thinking your way through anything
Yeah,
that comes
exactly.
up. 'Cause stuff's going to come up.
Yep.
Lots of stuff's going to come up.
I think
Yeah.
Art tolerates us.
I enjoy it. I choose this group. I mean, obviously, there's opportunities out there, and this is where I want to be. And people I want to be here with.
Let's go back to day one.
Please.
Tell me how it all started. You the early bite? You didn't get the early bite, right? Didn't
Negative.
We
We,
got the early bite, right?
That was a fun.
Yeah.
The first fish was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was. It was exciting. So, we'd heard about. We didn't make it up there, and we'd been. My fallback area there. When the fish haven't really started moving is generally Lake Worth Pier through the Pines or something in there. There's tons of good bottom and there's tons of life, and you're gonna find something to fish to in there that will give you hope. And we had a little bit of current in that area, so and the water was decent in there. So that's where we started. Was there off of Mar-Lago.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yep. And that's where we'd won the Cove tournament 2 weeks before. And it's a good area to start in. Lots of life in there generally. And shortly after lines in, Bernard sees a flopper inshore. So we lift everything in the air and blaze in there to 50 foot of water. We were sitting in like 95 feet of water at the time. It had been a relatively shallow situation there. blaze in there and can't make something happen, which I really expected to, because when we got there was a little bit of a break, and it looked like we should have been able to get in front of that fish, and it did whatever it did.
So you pushed in to get them?
Oh, you pick the baits up in the air and you haul ass.
No,
them.
I mean, to like what, 100?
No, we pushed into 50 foot of water.
50 foot.
Yeah, we were in
Okay.
90 foot of water, 95 foot of water.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we 25 knots, kites in the air, they handle it. You're quartering it anyway, so you're not like you're pulling any harder on them. And dumped them, and it didn't work. Well, I kind of start creeping back offshore, and Michael Jordan's boat hooks a triple.
Yo, Breezy.
About quarters of a mile or so north of us, and a boat that, what's crazy is just as we pulled in, a boat that we just left gets bit, and they catch one there. The boat Stan was running their Tar Baby.
Tar Baby, yeah.
And, maybe we pulled away from something there, but we seen one here, so we got to try it, right? And then he, for some reason, jumps north, which is...
Stanley did?
Yeah, which is not a traditional move unless he saw that, other fish with it or something that were going north, which would be odd. But perhaps he did or whatever. He jumps north and ends up just south of Michael Jordan there, Catch 23. Catch 23 hooks a triple. Stan hooks a fish that goes blazing inshore. And the roofers are a little deeper there. Advanced roofing boat there was a little deeper in their Viking, and we were still way up in there shallow. So I work offshore, and basically the roofers were a little bit north of us, and they pulled inshore of us, and I kind of laid my right kite just inside their left kite, and their left kite gets bit, and our right kite gets bit on a single each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was.
So you guys hit the same wolf pack probably.
It was a progression of fish. It was very clear. I mean, the way it worked down, and then it died after us. There wasn't another boat south of us that got bit. So I don't know if that was the group or if, whatever, that shut the fish down.
Sailfishing.
There's patterns to it.
Tournament sailfishing is such a chess game, man.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It really is. If anyone knows or has fished enough tournaments, we can clearly understand that. It's such a chess game.
Oh, yeah. What was cool about it, too, though, is the fish crossed. Their fish went inshore and ours went offshore, and the boats are staggered like that. So the kites basically just scraped right across each other and somehow didn't make a giant mess. But that's kind of part of the fun.
Because you both know what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was with Stanley?
No, that was with the roofers.
Oh, well, even though them especially, too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. It was good stuff.
So that's early bite on that. That was your early bite?
That's the one bite.
The one bite
the
before
one bite
noon.
we had before noon.
Yeah.
And it was pretty packed up in there, so I wasn't feeling really good about it, and I wasn't seeing anybody else getting bit for a little while there, so I felt like we had to make a move. And then there'd really been nothing going on the ledge to the north, but I'd heard from Breezy was on a boat, and he'd talked to who was it?
John.
John.
On the
on the
Bayless.
Singularis there. Yep.
Yeah.
Johnny, that's the boat I was supposed to fish on.
Yeah, and he'd had a couple of bites up there, and Bernard's son had a couple of bites up there and caught 1 out of 2 or something. And not that that's a lot, but it was something.
Something.
Yep. And there weren't too many boats up there at the time, so figured I'd kind of start working that way. It's a hard southerly wind, so running north was easy. And there's a really good section of bottom just south of Juneau Pier out there in 150. Real good break in the bottom, and I figured, well, nobody here. We might as well get a look at it. Saw bait getting up all over the place, and it looked amazing. And, I mean, just no love at all.
No love at all.
No, we fished there from like 11 to 12 and had heard a couple more fish we're seeing up there by those guys around Jupiter. So, well, I know that area pretty well, too. We get up there basically straight in front of Jupiter. We were fishing from the...
So you ran even further north.
Right. Only another 5 miles from
Still.
where we were. But, yeah, we bumped it to
You didn't
north.
go to Boynton, is
No.
my point. You
No.
didn't, yeah.
That wasn't an option. It just wasn't happening down there for some reason. And we basically just started zigzagging around and changing depths, trying to find a bite, kind of pulling on the bait a little bit, and got a little pattern going. And we were able to go basically almost 6 for 6 there with some little funny things that happened that
So
worked out.
you spent the rest of the day there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or 5 for 5, 6 for 6 on the day.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We had a fish show up on a long bait, and it got the bait off, plucked the bait off or whatever, and didn't work out. And then he showed up on the right short, and I felt like maybe I saw a second one there, but I wasn't sure. And I watched it T-bone. Mike Calabrese was on the rod at T-bone it, and then watched it suck it down as it was vanishing off into the depths. And he goes to come tight, comes out of the clip, and here comes a bait. What the hell? The bait rod didn't even load up or anything. Spit. Well, he's hot on it still, coming right back at us, and lit up like a trolling fish.
Really?
It was gorgeous. So he stops. Well, the bait squished. It's stone dead. You see the fish kind of loops around it, confused. and one of our guys,
He free spooled it.
yeah, he just stopped and hoping that it'll come back and go ahead and eat the dead bait. It didn't, but it kind of fades off, goes to go south, and one of our guys was quick to get up to the bow and pitch a spinner. It hits the water and kaboom.
Speaks to the team. I'm telling you, right
Exactly.
there, it all-star team move right there.
Yep.
That's great.
Yeah, and
That's
I mean
great.
the thing that like I will tell you, being an angler on the boat, because all the captains talk, but like we're on the deck. Art puts us somewhere. We put the baits out, and we believe it's the best place in the world to be.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So this segues me into what I wanted to ask you, right? So I'd be a fool not to take this opportunity of having you in the room right now,
Yeah.
okay? And asking you, because this guy comes on the show all the time. He does most of the talking when he's here, right? And everybody loves it, and I love it when he does, because it's just everyone just gets enamored when he talks, right? Because it's just you stop, because you're just a wealth of knowledge. You really are, right? You've at this point, even in your life, no. At this point in your life, you've forgotten about fishing like more than most people know, or however that phrase goes, right? So you guys have been together for a while, though.
5 years,
right?
Every bit of.
Yeah,
So,
6 maybe. I don't know. A while.
So, can you give me a little bit of art love here, because I want really people to understand clearly, because they just hear me saying it all the time on the show. But what's it like having like this guy, run this boat?
Why not do that when I'm not around?
No, I'm gonna have I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I think that's part of the guy is in a very nice way. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
And our my job is kind of like the loose background organizer, I guess you would call me. Like, our job as a team is to do everything that we can in our power so that he feels confident, so that he can just go do what he's good at. And because if he can do that, then he'll overcome our weaknesses, right? And collectively, that makes it work. And when he's when his head is clear and he can focus on taking us to a place and knowing that we're going to put those baits out and have we have 100% confidence. Like, I have 100% confidence when I go fishing with Art that wherever we go, it's the best place for me to be. And if somebody's 5 miles away and they catch more fish, that's not like we don't have those turmoils on our boat. We know when we put the kites out in our minds that we're in the best place that we could be positioned to win a tournament. And we have 100% confidence in the bait, in the tackle, and the captain, and we just hope he has like 60% confidence in his anglers.
Wouldn't be there if I wasn't perfectly content with my people.
But that's like an important part of probably the dynamic of our team, is that we really don't have the drama, or it's just like Art is.
Yeah. He's cool-headed. Yeah, I think then that trickles down, I think, to the rest of everybody for sure, when the captain is
and when the boat
like that.
leaves the inlet, it's Art. Like, even on the Island Rover, when the boat leaves the inlet, it's Art's boat. It's not my. The island. It's because he's there to do what I own the boat to do, and that's to go catch fish.
Yep.
And I think that's just part of fishing with Art. I mean, he just makes you a better fisherman. I'm better today than I was 5 years ago. And we have, even when we don't win, we have fun.
That's crucial.
Yeah.
The camaraderie, dude. That's what this game's about. And that, especially even with we were at the award ceremony the other day, and we're talking about, that's so and so. Damn, he's a good dude. And you come to realize that 90% of the people that you're fishing against and with and everything are really good people. And again, connected by water. This is a great group of human beings doing this stuff.
Yep. So. That's it. I mean, we have literally based our entire company on that notion right there.
Yep.
That it's all about community. It's all about our fishing community, and it's all about that network of just making that decision.
Hey,
that's probably Bernard. You can let him in. Yeah.
Yep. Flawed human beings, but great.
We got a celebrity walking in the door.
This guy.
He's here. Welcome, sir. We have a seat set aside for you. Entering the room is Native Son team member Bernard Paul-Hus, right? Were you playing golf? Were you just coming off the golf course? No. You're an animal.
We have the sophisticated member of the
team. Throw your
helmet
on. You're all set. Just throw your helmet on and then put this down.
Lower the thing and
There
say
you go.
hello.
Oh, like being on the airplane.
There you go. You ready? Welcome to the show.
Nice
Yeah.
to be here.
So, he caught one of the winning daily fish on
He did.
Yeah.
On
on
the
day
first
2,
one.
right?
He did.
And
And it was
I
an interesting one, too.
I was in here, right, on the computer because I was working on Saturday because we're trying to get the store open.
Good for
right?
you.
But I got the live scoring up, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it was 6-2-2-6, and there was a 5 right there, and it was native son of 5. And I'm like, I kept refreshing. And then Liz was talking to me about something, talking for like a half an hour. And I hit F5 again to refresh, and I see Bernard Paul-Hus got a fish to get it to 6. I was like, they're in it. They're doing their thing. So
that was crazy.
tell me about that fish.
Best as I can tell, I was standing next to Rob, and there's like, 15 minutes to go.
Mhm.
And I look at
Not
Rob, and
even.
I'm like,
No, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, I was like, we need a double. Wonder
Yeah.
Twin powers activate. And he looks out and he goes, I think there's a fish on you. And there was weed on my bait.
Really?
Yes. And Art's like, dump it. So I dump it, got big old weight on there, dropped it, Gog swims out, piles on it. And he immediately starts jumping, and then, off to the races, doing my thing, which is listening to exactly what Art says to do.
Right.
And we're backing down on this fish, and all of a sudden you hear, there's another one, and it kind of faded off. So just as we released my fish, we thought we had one on, wasn't there, and then like maybe 10 seconds later, they're on the middle, on the short, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And sure enough, Jim Steele comes tight, and the old man just
So it was
puts the
Jimmy that
screws to
got
it.
the last one.
Yeah, Jim Steele.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
That was the big dollar one.
Yeah, nice. So that was the story you told me about with the one that they pitched out.
No,
that was
no.
the day before.
Oh, that was the day before.
No, that was a right
Okay,
short kite
all right.
bait. Jim Steele's on the
Gotcha,
right short.
gotcha.
Yeah, this is like buzzer, end of the day, day 2.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is happening.
358. Like, this is why we do it. I mean, like, and it's funny because 2 years ago, the same thing happened
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the win of the tournament.
for the win
tournament
of the tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and it was
great.
me and Bernard.
I got to tell you, like, even though I was here watching, like, I felt that moment, not like you guys did, but I understood what you guys were going through. Like, at that point, I was like, no way.
Yeah, they experienced the elation. I wasn't finished yet.
44 seconds
He
to
had,
go.
he
right?
had 44 seconds of fish and left it.
In my mind, like I said, the grind doesn't stop until the time I recognized it the most was I was down there in Key West with Bar South, and there were some more things that happened Saturday there that made it a little better understanding. Was the instant fatigue that hit at lines out because it was tighter
Yeah.
on that one. I mean, there was a boat right next to me that I'd just seen missed one that they catch that one and they went, and we just missed 2 and whatever. And the fatigue hit so hard I almost couldn't get out of the tower that day because the grind was so hard. Just what's it going to take to get one more bite? That was when I really started to realize I'm getting older, and the mental aspect of this is so much more exhausting than the physical aspect of it.
Yeah.
Physical, I can handle that shit. Beat me up, I'm fine.
Right.
Done that my whole life, but the mental aspect, and I think part of that comes with getting better at it, and learning how to continue the thought process, and having more thoughts added to it as you get older and see more and experience more. So that's why that last 44 seconds. No, I'm not finished yet, guys. They hadn't said lines out, then.
I mean, I was fishing my dead Gog like a
Yeah, you were done.
Like a
machine.
pro.
Look busy. Look
Well,
busy.
you got to. What else can you do?
You get the leader touch.
Yeah.
And I tackle Jim from one direction. Mike tackles him from the other
He
direction.
showed
While
me
I'm
the
holding the
video.
rod.
He showed me, John, you got to roll that video. Right? He showed me that video.
Yeah.
Uh,
And listen, I
just
get
before
the
the
elation.
podcast.
I was
That was
happy as-
hilarious. And then you hear Art yelling, 44 seconds.
Keep fishing.
Yeah.
Keep fishing. That's our new ringtone.
That's our new ringtone
Yeah.
for Art.
So, what are you, 3 for 6 on the Island Rover right now?
No.
Two
So we're 2 for 2,
Okay.
but we're 3 for 6 on the season. Well, so
On
we're,
the season.
we're
Okay.
1.5. So
Yeah.
we won the Hopetown tournament
Mm-hmm.
on the CV. We won the Cove tournament on the Island Rover, and then we won the challenge on both.
Right.
So we're 3. I mean,
Like 1, okay?
Like
So
first place.
Where did you guys placed pretty well in the others, though? And I know if he says this whole if you're not first, you're last kind of thing.
No, well, it matters
Right.
for points.
Yeah, we were
I know it matters for points.
seventh in operation, and then the Derby. I don't
Sucked.
know. Yeah, we didn't have a good Derby.
Yeah, that was a bad tournament for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I blame that on the fish.
We're up by 2 points now.
Yeah.
I
Up by
believe.
2 points
It
on
was,
the
it was
jacket
time
right
for
now.
us to have a bad
Yeah.
Derby, though. They were getting sick
Yeah.
of us up there.
What I was going to say earlier when you were talking about, even if like all the fish are getting caught 5 miles away, it's
Even
fine. You know what I
next year,
mean?
that happens.
But I always say that's the fish's fault. It's not ours. The fish did something wrong that day.
Well, I
not
mean,
ours.
Bernard can speak to that. Bernard runs his own boat. He fishes. I mean, he can talk. You can ask him the same question.
Thoughts there, Mr. Bernard?
Tell you, it's people make way too much out of what boat you're on. It's all about what team you've got.
Correct.
It is all about the team gelling, everybody doing what they're supposed to do, and understanding you've got a quarterback who calls plays. Period. You're a wide receiver. You don't question the play your quarterback calls. You don't understand. You're understanding what your D-back is doing, but the quarterback sees the whole field, right? So, Art's our quarterback. He calls the plays. We execute. He's got a team full of guys that are incredibly passionate and interested in doing this. Everybody's there. I would say on 98% of the time they're on.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2% of the time where you got to grab a bite to eat or whatever, but the team is so passionate and so interested in being there and so dialed in on what they do. And by limiting what everybody's responsible for, they can be great at it. And
Right.
And it works. It's like everything else that requires teamwork.
I think that speaks to what you're talking about with being the business owner aspect of it, and building teams and working teams and understand strengths and weaknesses and all that kind of dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, we're a
for
team
sure.
of, for the most part, Type A personalities.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
But, we understand our place out
Right.
there on the boat, and it's not, it's not like none of us would ever look up at the tower and say, "Hey, Art, let's go over there." I mean, like, I can't even imagine doing that. I don't know. I hear stories and I'm like, I like.
That would be like Clutch's Pearls moment. Like, you said that to
First of
Art?
all, if
What?
I did that, he'd probably throw one of his yellow bottles at me. But I mean, it's not even on the radar. Like, your brain is.
Just do your job, right?
We have the right captain, the right guy driving the boat. I've got the right guy to my right and the right guy to my left. I've got my bait to be in control of, and if I get bit, it's good. But if he gets bit, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure he catches that fish,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And maybe get bit too.
And keep fishing. Like, we're not surprised when we catch a fish. I mean, we want to catch like 7 fish every time.
Yeah.
We've never had 7 or whatever we call that thing. but
Something template.
yeah, but I mean, we are always trying to continue fishing, and like, if we're on a fish, we're always like, we're let's get another bite. Let's get another bite. Let's
Yeah,
So let me bring a focus here real quick. No, go ahead.
Well, I would say to have the focus to focus. The only fish I see caught typically is the fish that I'm catching.
Right.
If Mike's fighting a fish, I'm not looking at Mike. I'm not looking at Mike's fish. I'm looking at my bait.
Yeah.
Because
You should
something
be.
else is going to come up. You don't want to be the guy who misses. You don't want to be that guy. Being that guy is not good.
Right.
And the fact that every single angler on our boat has the confidence in the person who's fighting a fish, no need to give any coaching, no need to give any tips, no need to get involved. It just speaks to how confident we are in each other, and confidence is everything in this sport.
Everything.
Yep.
Confidence in your boat, confidence in your tackle, in your knots, in the quality of your baits, and in the guys standing around you. It makes the team so much better.
Nice.
And if you miss a fish, there's nobody that hates missing a fish more than, I mean, it's fishing.
The
It
guy that
happens.
missed the fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just and like
Except Art. Maybe Art might.
No,
hate it
I think we hate it more than even he does, because we know it's pride. Like, we
that's-
want to be good.
Yeah, well, that's
Right.
part of the mental process too. Is, am I going to get stuck on that one? How am I
Yeah.
going to get bit again? How about I
Yeah.
try to figure out if that one didn't feel the sting, try to get him to bite again, and then we'll go get another one after that. No, there's no ill will to a missed fish. There's no reason to.
Absolutely.
Now, I lose a little bit of composure when I see a bait get chucked over, like when the kites are going out, and it's going to happen. But it's primarily because of excitement and trying to hustle stuff out. But watching a bait get chucked over a line that, whatever, it's hard to describe in kite fishing, the main line, whatever, and you'll chuck a bait, and now you're wrapped, and everything's got to
Right.
come back down and get.
Right.
That
the
kind of thing.
resets and everything, like unnecessary resets.
That's a meditation moment. Take a breath. All right, back in the game.
Yep, absolutely.
And they hate it happening.
That's the price of him dealing with lesser beings.
No, it happens. It happens to professional mates. They all do it. I mean, it happens.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I want to focus on the All-Star team real quick, okay?
Please.
Because, and I'm going to preface this in a way where you're probably going to shake your head and tell me to screw off, okay? But if you look at the native sun fishing team, okay, in all its glory, and I will say it like that, is I will make the comparison, right, that you guys are the Tom Brady of fishing teams. Hear me out, all right? You're never out. You're always in the game. When you smell blood, when you're within a few fish, and you're looking at the leaderboard, that's the one team you're looking at that says they got the chance in this over any other team in the fleet. And that's the truth, right? And the reason is there's a consistency model there, and it's been proven. All right, so I'm going to go out on a limb. And also, if there's going to be teams out there that says, no, we're the whatever like that, well, Tom Brady got doubted a lot, too, in his career, right? And this goes
have the jackets.
So listen.
Yeah, we don't have.
So here's the thing, though. You do have the consistency, okay?
No
Who's got the jackets, right?
The best that's ever done it, and John Louis.
All right, John Louis, okay.
And a guy that's barking at anybody and everybody's door that's ever been good at this game.
All right. No disrespect to John Louis, but maybe I'm going to call him the Joe Montana. All right. You guys are the Tom Brady.
He is older.
All right. So let's bring it home on that comment. So let's focus on the team and let's explain to this why. All right. So you got 3 here at the table.
Yeah.
All right. And we're all talking. All right. But you got others on the team, and I want to focus on them because this is a team victory, like we said earlier.
Sure.
So I don't want to leave those guys out in this conversation. All right. So let's talk with Jim Steele.
Levity is what he brings to the boat at the absolute most. A mental wit that, I mean, there's 5 extraordinarily successful businessmen on the boat that are clearly very intelligent people. The mental wit that cat's got is just ridiculous. And his numbers are good.
Mm-hmm.
He catches most of what he sees.
Yeah, that's good. And if you need someone to drive the boat, he could do it.
Well, and he's also the guy that, his favorite, one of the first things that Jim told me when I started fishing with these guys is, he's like, there are literally hundreds of dollars on the line here. And he'll say that, that's one of his little,
on the small tournaments. And then on the big tournaments, there's literally thousands of dollars on the line here. That's how he.
Yeah. So but he does it in a way look, it's fishing. Mm-hmm. It's fishing. If we fish well and we win, that's fine. But let's not, you can take yourself too seriously. Yeah. I mean, I think I did that a couple years ago. I got to the point that I was taking myself too seriously and taking it too seriously. And Jim is just, he just brings he's just got a good personality. He brings I don't know what Jim brings. I don't know if there's a word for that. Maybe there's a German word for that.
I'm going to take a timeout because I just realized one horribly epic thing.
You haven't poured me a rum yet?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. Did we just realize that at the same time?
I realized it the second
I heard the ice.
Try not to be rude.
No. Oh my God! You should be rude. I'm Dennis. You just say it to me. Where's my drink? All right, so I'm gonna make a rum. You want a Coke? You just want rum on ice?
No, it's Papa's. I'll have a little sipping rum.
Okay. You want ice or no?
Sure.
So, another thing about Jim is that the fact that, he's responsible for pulling these huge multi-million-dollar vessels. I mean, if anyone's got a level head out there, it's got to be that guy, right? So
he looked at me this weekend, and we were talking and came up with an idea, and he looked at me and goes, well, that's not just a hat rack up there, is it?
That's what I'm saying. The levity is.
He's great.
Yep.
He calls me Dad.
Does he not?
Yeah. I have a great picture of those two, but I'm probably not going to show
One of my employees calls
we
me that,
absolutely are. Did you see the previous picture that's been all over the internet between Jim? We got second place in this tournament 100 years ago, and he and Keith
poured your little light there.
Had a picture go out on the internet that would make that one look PG.
Yeah, the funny, we had a great Jim Steele moment on this show. He still has yet to come on the show, which we're trying to make that happen one of these days. But we were telling a Jim Steele story, and he called him while we were telling the story. So we picked up the phone, and we patched him in, and we let him finish telling the story, it was a funny moment. So another guy in the team. Let's talk about Steve Doherty.
Yeah.
Y'all want to start this one? I started the last one.
Go ahead. I started the last one. You start, Steve.
Well, talk about a guy who is exposed to every aspect of tournament fishing. Covers it, photographs it. He's seen the best. He's seen the worst. And talk about ice cold blood, man. That guy he doesn't get rattled. Somebody said in one of our group text messages today that, here's a guy right in the middle of everything, has the thought process of, I don't have a rod in my hand right now. Let me grab my camera and take some awesome photos. And he does. He takes the most brilliant, incredible photos.
He's incredibly talented.
No training.
No, he's incredibly talented.
But he just loves, I mean, like everybody on our team, I mean, Steve just loves doing it. I mean, he loves being out there. I mean, he loves getting on the boat in the morning and the ride out and putting the baits out and the banter that goes on the cockpit that, Art has to listen to all day long. I mean,
he's entertained.
And Steve is just he's another one of those guys that, like, if I'm bit, I don't have to worry about what he's doing. Like, we communicate, we talk when we catch a fish, but I mean, Steve's the guy, and if he gets bit, like, I know he's going to catch the fish. Like, it's just he's just one of those guys that you just have confidence in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
he's fun.
And he's
like
just
Steve. He's
fun,
a good
fun
dude.
guy to be around.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, but I've been fishing with Steve for a long, long time. Aside from his little hiatus that
Right.
he had there, but
Well, when he was repairing his spleen.
well, that's what we'll call it.
We'll call it that.
Spleen repairing
The
time.
spleen repairing time.
Yeah.
Let's
I
talk.
love having him on the boat, though.
Let's put a focus on a guy that's extremely close with you, because he's probably the one that fishes with you the most on the daily. That's Jimmy DeMarco.
Oh, yeah.
Fonzie.
Fonzie.
Fonzanoon, right? Or Fonzaloon? What is it?
Fonzanoon.
Is it noon? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's not actually a Fonzanoon,
Yeah.
but between he and Skip, they like to mess with each other. Yep. So Jimmy joined me in 2002, and it's crazy. So I bought a house here in Pompano, right across the street from the Buns, Jamie's dad, and at that point I was commercial fisherman and recreational fisherman, and really didn't have any interest in tournament fishing. We talked me into fishing one, loved it. So all right, well, I'm gonna do this. I got to put a crew together. Well, my neighbor 2 houses down, snook fisherman and whatever, all, but really didn't have any offshore experience to speak of. So all right, I'll take that. And obviously my father and a guy that I grew up with in Brandon, but we needed more bodies. And the guy Brad there, we trained him up, and I asked Brad, do you know anybody? He joined us in 2001 that might fit us here. And he said, well, Jimmy, he's prone to seasick, but he's pure fishing. We snook fished all over the place. I think he'd be the guy. And 2002, the rodeo was the first tournament he ever fished. Or sorry, 2000. Yeah, 2002 or 2003. We won it and proceeded to win 4 more in a row after that. 5 in a row straight. First 5 tournaments Jimmy ever fished in his life, we won. So, okay, well, lucky little kitty, there might be something to this guy. And at the time, all he did was tie knots and keep rods rigged and occasionally to have a spinning rod in his hand or something. And then he's progressed to now. Still got a spinning rod in his hand at Sailfish tournaments, but I mean, I hardly do anything without him.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
And
He's great because no matter what you do at the boat, he knows what to do.
Yeah.
Needs zero direction, doesn't need to be told anything, knows what questions to ask. And if you're going to have a guy on a spinning rod, I've never seen anybody better. And he is just, he's magic with that thing. He knows how to feed him. He knows when to come tight. He knows 10% of the way through the
bait.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what he's fighting 90% of the time. He'll tell you right off the bat. It's impressive.
he's, like in 30 years when I'm sitting around, telling stories about when I used to be able to stand up all day and fish, and like our Uber driver on the way home from Palm Beach.
Like our Uber driver.
I'm going to look back and say, yeah, I fished, with Art Sapp and with Jim DeMarco. I mean, they're those guys.
Dynamic duo.
And that's that's how I feel about Jimmy. I mean, I feel like, just like I feel about Art. I mean, I'm fishing with legacy guys, that are that influential in the sport, and I get to be a part of it.
So another guy you guys recently added to the team, right, who is an amazing fisherman, right? But he hadn't always fished with natives. Somebody does now, or at least at the moment, is Yo Breezy.
Yo,
Yo
Mike
Breezy.
Calabrese, right? So I think I see that as a huge addition to the team. Just a really great guy, knows what he's doing. Plenty of experience in the water, plenty of experience tournament fishing, and he used to fish with number 23 there for a while as well. Talk a little bit about Mike Calabrese.
I think to talk about Mike, we got to talk about Chris, because that's kind of the replacement, right?
Yeah.
And we don't need to go through the team without talking about Chris, because Chris
Who happened to be there this week?
Yeah, he happened to be there this weekend.
Damn, look out.
So
That was close.
Yes, it
That was
Yeah.
super close. Look at John. John's over there.
like,
He's like, wait a minute. That was almost really,
Hold
really,
on to
really bad.
So Chris Niskern, his dad and uncle,
Mm-hmm.
I think, on KMC Marine. So I met Chris when he was tying up boats at Houston's,
Mm-hmm.
and I was fishing before I was fishing with Art, and we had somebody that couldn't come fishing with us, and he was like paying attention to the boats and like seemed like a good kid. I don't know, he's probably 19 at the time. And I said, "Hey, you know how to fish?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, be at my house at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going fishing." Like, that's how I met Chris. And he came and got on the boat, and we fished on my little CV. And I mean, it was rough, and he got drenched and just level-headed. So when I started fishing with Art, I was like, "Art, I got this guy, young guy. He's in college. He's a good guy. I really would like to bring him along." And Art obliged. And Chris, started working with them rigging and bait fishing and doing all this stuff, and really became, a great member of the team. But then he graduated from college, so I hired him in my business in Virginia and moved him away to the cold.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of lost him because, at some point you got to go have a career.
You got to make decisions, yeah.
And so, but Chris was, he was with us. It was pretty special that he came down. For all of us that he came down, was on the boat for this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So Chris was gone, and we needed kind of another one of those guys to, be on the team that's not distracted with all the distractions of the business owner guys. And so we kind of talked to Mike and, worked it out, and he's been with us since, I guess, what did he do? What was the first tournament?
Hopetown.
Yeah.
Hopetown.
So
Yeah, so he's
first one out of the gate, we won.
Yeah.
he's 3 out of 6 with us. So.
Yeah, he's 3 out of 6. So.
Nice.
Well, he's 3 out of 5 with us because he did fish the dust him off.
Oh, that's right. Did he not?
No.
Oh.
So
Yeah, the dust them off would have been before the Hopetown, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
So that's my spin on Chris and Calabrese.
Yep, for sure. For
Cool.
Sure. That
Cool.
and we've got aspirations to be a little more involved in the trolling stuff here in the near future, which
The
Breezy's
northern
certainly
fishing?
got north and in the Bahamas. And,
Yeah.
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 and he's certainly got a ton of experience there as well. That
Yeah.
Nice.
He's
Nice.
got great eyes.
Yeah.
He sees very well.
Yeah.
He sees in the water very well. And that's a special gift that not many people on the water have.
Yeah.
And like Art sees extraordinarily well. I mean, kind of you told me one story one time about you and John Dudas being in the tower.
yeah, that was fun.
And,
Actually, it was me, Louie, and Joe Turner on the
Oh,
edge
with
boat
Joe
down
too?
in Key West. Yep, the 3 of us crammed in that tower, that edge boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. That was
Yeah.
fun. We were dolphin fishing down there.
You fish with the edge in the tournament?
No, we were just down there. It was during that Wild Bills thing. We were all
Oh,
of us were
okay.
down
Got
there
you.
playing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and we got into a competition in the tower. Sun was setting down there in Key West, so it's obviously behind us. We're headed east into a little bit of a head sea hunting mahis on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And the game got to who could see it first, and it literally got to where 500 yards. It got stretched out so far hunting fish that it'd take a minute and a half to get to them before we started casting. Between the 3 of us, how far can we get? How soon can we see them? Because if I find him at 100 yards, these perks are going to see him before me. So I quit hunting close, and I'm hunting. And so obviously they were doing the same thing.
Right.
And the crazy thing is we're doing the stuff, and Jeff, that was running the advanced roofing team at the time, Jeff Scott, say, "Hey, assholes, cobia right here."
Fish right here.
Literally right under the left green. There's a cobia right here. We're hunting so far out there. And we, all 3 of us, that thing popped up right there. He didn't get by us. There's no way.
I have literally spent thousands of dollars in prescription sunglasses since then trying to get better focus.
Yeah,
able to see.
that's something I need to solve is the whole prescription sunglasses.
Well,
thing.
and then I've come to realize it's really not about seeing well; it's about knowing what you're seeing.
You noticing.
You know,
What it
no-
is, it's noticing a change, a slightest little bit of movement, because the ocean's doing its movement, and it's actually very rhythmic, and musicians would probably see it better than anybody, because it's all rhythmic. There's a rhythm to it, and then all of a sudden, one ripple changes. Well,
Yeah.
the ocean didn't change that ripple on its own. Something did it, and so you're not really you're never seeing the whole fish. You're just seeing a piece of something, and it something registers in there that says, "Yep, that's what it was." And it's crazy. You'll see that much fin, and yeah, that was a dolphin.
Yeah.
Nope, that was a sailfish fin, or
Like fishing on the
I
flats.
just saw a
same
mola
thing.
mola.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily see the fish, you just see the change.
The first
Big time.
real
Yeah.
fishing trip I did with Mike Calabrese was in Chub Key 7 or 8 years ago, and I recognized how good he was because he was turning on fish that were quite a far way away, billfish at that, and it was impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Nice. Are we leaving anyone out? that I
Lots
should-
of people.
lot
I mean,
of
no, I
Gotta
mean
try
for this current.
Oh, yeah,
right
Rob.
now.
Yeah, Big
so,
Rob.
So,
Big
oh yeah,
Rob.
that's right, Big Rob. So take me through. You guys take me through the rest. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Certainly. We involved Big Rob back when the original liquid thing was kind of coming apart, and obviously to do this is extremely expensive, so you need people with means. And Rob's also a type A successful businessman and a passionate fisherman. He's been fishing these local tournaments forever and really didn't know anything about the billfish tournaments. Never really been involved in them, and we asked him if he was interested, and basically broke it down to him. This is what it costs. We're not going to lie to you. It's expensive, but the goal is obviously to break even every year. And the level of enjoyment, if it costs you $30,000, I sell my spiel. I believe that you're going to get every bit of $30,000 of enjoyment out of a year of this. If you're whatever you spend on your vacations and whatever, all I think you'll. And he agreed to it, and we. I don't know the exact breakdown on the finances. I hate it. I don't want to know, but I feel like he's gotten his money's worth in enjoyment out of the whole deal, and he's the big gorilla of the boat. My dad called me a gorilla my whole life, but that dude's much bigger than me, and to watch him move around despite being that big giant guy, he's sleek a foot or whatever, and really, really good at it. So he's not only brings that benefit of being one of the guys that can afford to help us with this, and he loves it and good at it. Now, turns out his son's a star baseball player, and we're losing him to that a lot these days. But he's
But he's
a
fun.
good
I mean, Rob is just like. I mean, I think for the most part, we all make each other laugh during the day, and like we just have fun. I mean, and
Well, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
That's why you
like-
show up.
like
Yeah.
my joke with Rob is like I don't ask him if he wants anything to eat. I just hand it to him. and, but he gets excited. Like he gets excited. I mean, we have video of him in this tournament. Like he releases, I think Bernard's fish or Mikey's fish, and he's just it's like
Dancing
a WWE moment. He's like dancing and
And he's got reach.
Yeah, that's
the
the
guy's
thing.
like- yeah, he's
Long guys on the boat. They're
But he's,
valuable.
he's another one who brings levity to the cockpit.
Yeah.
I mean, he is funny guy.
Yeah.
Oh, his
Nice.
wit is. I mean, he and Jim Steele just keep the cockpit.
Yeah,
so-
I imagine.
so chill.
Yeah, Jimmy on the boat really helps the day go by pretty good. So,
Yeah.
you said it's strange talking about money?
I hate it.
yeah, it's
You know what else is strange? Are strange questions that people have asked us.
oh boy, we
Let's
got
go
some.
through these. Well,
We
we
still
got
got
some.
people
We
we
got
gotta
some.
talk about.
I just checked. No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
I just don't want it
we'll
to-
save the best for last.
Let's break it up a
We do
little
have
bit,
some
though.
good
Let's
ones.
break it up a little bit. So all right. So I'm going to go through our strange questions. Art, you got to tell me if you got some here too. So we got.
I think I'm looking at your video. How
You're looking at mine.
Yeah.
You got to look at yours.
Oh, there we go. I think I got it.
All right, let me make sure that we got the refresh here. So what we're doing is we're looking at we did a really interesting thing this time around, to where we are asking our strange questions on Facebook Live. So and then we're gonna go ahead and roll through them. So all right, so strange question number 1. It's not really strange, but it's a question, and it comes from Captain John Van Dellen of the Singularis.
I got one from him too.
Did you? All right. They did probably the same question. What ride's better, a 39 CV or a 58 Merit? We kind of went over that a little bit earlier, but
Depends on what the ocean's like.
Yeah, it just depends on what you want to do.
Friday it was the CV, and Saturday it was the
he
Merit.
goes, I would bet the CV. This comes from a guy that drives a Bayless.
Yeah.
So
On a quartering sea of any size, I'd rather be in the CV just because of the speed I can have. But in a head sea of any size, I'd rather be in the Merit boat because you hardly feel anything.
That boat's rock solid.
Oh my gosh, is it solid?
It is rock solid.
And in any long run, despite the speed, like a really long run, other than in a tournament, I'd rather be in a Merit because of the comfort. There's so many variations.
all right.
Coming home,
I vote Merit
coming,
in every condition.
coming
But I'm the
home-
oldest guy here, so
Thanks, Dad.
coming home, I'd always rather be in a Merit because it's so comfortable.
All
Truly
right.
so comfortable.
But the boat, I mean, the boat was built in 1998.
Right.
To me, it still looks good, still beautiful,
it looks brand new.
and it performs. It's not a wooden boat. Most people think that they're wooden boats. It's not a wooden. It's a carbon Kevlar composite Corcel foam boat that was built in a mold that's bulletproof. And like when we were fishing Saturday and that stuff, I mean, it wasn't like flexing and creaking, and I have confidence in both of those boats when I'm in the ocean.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And so-
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like comparing,
Yeah.
this excellent thing to that excellent
As
thing.
I said
mean,
before,
it's
I think we have
it's a tough call.
one of the finest center consoles that money can buy, and I think we have one of the finest sport fish boats money can buy.
Yeah.
All right, you got a question?
I got a bunch of them, but one
Go
of them
ahead.
I'm going to answer because I like answering it. And
Well, you're the one that's supposed to answer them anyway.
Oh,
you
my
guys.
bad.
So it's not me.
Heather,
they're not questions for me.
Heather, oh God, sorry, Heather, I can't say your last name correctly.
Heather Reynold.
There you go. He said it right. Asked where the name Native Son comes from. That one is for me entirely because I'm 7 generations Florida,
Sure.
and that's it. I'm a native son, native
That's
to
it.
Florida. That's the whole deal there.
And he's so bright.
He is bright.
That's S-O-N, not like S-U-N. Don't
You'll
make that
notice
mistake,
that
please.
glow around him everywhere he goes.
That's called sun cancer.
Is
Skin
it?
cancer?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what
All
that
right.
glow is.
Give me another question from your list.
Same woman asks what are we feeding the bait, and it's the goggle eyes get minced up bonita that I painstakingly chop like a sushi chef, and the herring and sardines, and everybody else gets the prills. That's some kind of meal that you buy. Down at I buy it at Carl's Bait and Tackle, but I'm sure you can get it anywhere.
All right. We got one from Fonzanoon.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
So Jimmy DeMarco says, "Is it true Sailfish love Fonzie?"
They absolutely
This is a
love
straight
fun.
up question.
Absolutely.
Ask Skip Dana.
Yeah, no
Cool.
doubt. Mike Snyder asked what pound fluoro and length of leader do we use tournament fishing and charter fishing? And it's exactly the same unless we're adding a little bit of wire for charter fishing. I fish 30-pound fluoro because I want to get bit on both. And they're 15 feet, or actually a little less, just to make sure we stay within the rules. And we generally cut them right at 15 feet and then tie the knots and everything, which brings us down to like 14-10.
All right. See, Skip Dana.
Oh gosh, I saw the picture already.
More Fonzie questions, right? If sailfish love Fonzie, why do wahoos hate Luigi? So I'm gonna
You
have to
realize
get
Fonzie
this
and
picture
Luigi are the same
to
guy.
you, John.
Comes back to that
Yeah.
flat line fluorocarbon.
Dude, he can't catch them with wire either.
Oh boy.
He's
So
he's
there's-
never caught a wahoo on live bait. He's got thousands of hours in the ocean with live bait. Never caught a wahoo.
So the only thing everybody's afraid of on the boat, Jimmy's going to catch a wahoo on fluoro. He's going to get it to the boat, and nobody's going to gaff it because nobody wants to mess that up. So he's going to be there with his wahoo. It's probably going to be like 70 pounds, and nobody on the boat's going to touch the gaff.
If anybody can take a 12-foot gaff and gaff his own fish, it's him.
So he's going to have to catch and gaff his own fish.
John Beach asks, how many gogs do you use? And now that's a tricky question right there because the real question is how many do we carry? Because you use how many you get bit and how many moves you make. You never know what the number you're going to use. But generally 90 fish on when I don't think it's going to be a insane bite. And I'm always prepared to carry as many as 150.
What makes you break that down?
I've been in the ocean every day. I know what the
No,
boat's
I know,
gonna
I
be
know,
like.
but is there a science behind it?
How many we're carrying?
Yeah.
No, just
then
when I know what
between
the
90
bite
and
I
the
think I'm going to
50.
get.
Okay. That's the
quantity of
answer.
bites,
That's
yeah.
it. That was the answer. All right.
Yep.
Cool.
And there is a science to it in that, you know, our thought process, whether it's right or not, overcrowding a well, or at what point are you crowding a well to the point where the baits aren't going to perform as well as you want them
Kind
to?
of what I was getting at a little bit, but
And that's
I wasn't
always
sure
the
if
thought
you're going to go
process.
there. Yeah.
I want to go less, but I also don't want to run out, and I don't want to be reusing baits if at all possible.
Gotcha. All right, I got a jumbo question. Justin says, Justin Layden says, why the boat switch after day one? That's some balls right there. And I think Stan followed that up, backing you up, saying, well, it was kind of rough. So it was a good decision. Pretty much is what he said.
It wasn't a big deal from our standpoint. I mean, other than getting up an extra hour early.
Yep.
And
that, the thought was it was going to be blowing hard. See, if we had to, we knew the wind was coming. We were planning on making that switch 3 days ahead. We knew we were doing it. And when I was telling Bun about it, and we were, well, you can't be in the center console. I said, well, what if we win the center console on day one and don't count our second day's fish? We're going to win the center console division just day one, and then whatever. Well, no, you can't do that. If you're going to fish a big boat, you're not in the center console. Calcutta. We're going to win the center console division on day one.
Right.
Well, guess what?
You won center console on day
But
one.
we didn't get to keep the Calcutta money because he kicked us out of that Calcutta. But we had discussed it, and it was agreed upon.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of good you had that conversation ahead of time. Then.
Oh, of course.
You
No,
know,
we're
at least.
yeah.
Maybe at the very least. Because if not, then it would have been a little bit different maybe at the end.
Yeah.
But, all right, cool.
And Skipper asked, why was it so rough?
Why was it so
Why
rough?
was it so?
because it was a sailfish tournament.
Yeah.
Because it was a Jamie Bunn sailfish tournament.
Yeah.
And it wasn't giant until the end of the day, because somehow we went from having north current that would have made it giant in a hurry to south current the second day there. But it was rough. It was white capping, wind blown, spray everywhere, rough.
So, all right.
Made flying carts a real
tricky.
challenge.
Do you have any more questions you want to fire off from your list?
I don't think so.
You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Let's pick a winner.
I'm biased.
To who?
Anybody that ever says anything about my boat name.
Oh, Heather?
Yeah.
You want to lay Heather?
Well, no, I mean, it's whatever. This is a group thing here. It's just
There you go. You
Sure.
just picked her.
Yeah.
There you go. I think Heather's the winner.
All right.
All right.
Yay.
Heather, stop by the store. Pick up your shirt.
Very,
Thanks
you are the
everybody
winner.
for
very insightful question.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Always.
All right, so let's get on the other team members.
Well, now we got to go to the left short. So we've basically working down it. Bernard's here as our left long. Rob is our left middle.
Which, by the way, I've figured out that they like me on the left long because it's the farthest one away that needs to be reeled back in when there's a fish on.
yeah, the most work.
Dude, look how fit this guy is. He can handle it. This man is fit. No, I think it was the last bait available, and Bernard's the most recent. Like, see Breezy, Breezy's new to the boat, but he doesn't man a rod. He fills in where he can, and he's constantly keeping knots tied and camera and all kinds of. He's just a workhorse, And
Yeah, I'm the rookie angler.
He is.
Yeah,
And it's been 2 years and change now. So
Yeah.
it's like the movie The Natural. Then
yeah.
It has saved me
when
so
Roy
much
Hobbs
money.
comes in, it
Yeah.
It
I mean,
saved me a
Bernard
ton of
used
money.
to. I mean, Bernard used to do this on his own,
Yeah.
and
And now I'm sponsoring my son to do it on his own.
yeah,
But he actually, to his credit, he's actually footing quite a bit of the bill. So,
yeah.
but yeah, left short.
Yep. Jay Jones.
That is Jay Jones. Wow.
And he's
Love
a
Jay.
character. Love him.
The so,
Another addition to the levity on the boat.
yeah. So Jay Jones is. I was in the concrete business in Virginia, and Jay was one of my customers. And so the first time we fished together, he had like a 38 Viking. We went to the Norfolk Canyon, and went 12 for 14 on white marlin, and we've been friends ever since, trolling. So Jay would come down, when I would fish tournaments just for fun, because I started doing tournaments down. I moved to Pompano in 2008. I started doing tournaments just because I wanted to learn more, and I think it helps you figure out fishing. It just gives you a reason to do it right. I think everybody who goes out of Hillsborough,
forced acquisitions kind of thing.
I think people, even if they don't go across the board, should, if you own a boat and you like to fish, unless you're over the tournament thing, you should enter a base entry in a tournament just to go to an event, have the intensity of getting ready for a tournament, going out the inlet, fishing hard all day, because it just makes you better when you go fun fishing. You know, I mean, that's kind of my.
I actually can add to that, you know, because I'm not the tournament fisherman that you guys are, but I fish plenty of tournaments. And having that exposure really helps me understand my customer base a lot more.
Sure.
You know, it really does. And you know, and I have a passion for it. I love it. I can't do it all the time just because I'm building this business and I'm more in the background of moving forward with the things that I do. But I can say that exposure to the tournament scene really does hold a lot of value to understanding, you know what I mean, what everyone else is, you know, what's going through their heads.
Just
as well,
make
too.
So anyway, Jay and I came down here. It's funny. We walked into TNR Tackle, and this is like 2015 or something. Said, hey, we're going to fish a sailfish tournament. We need to buy a bunch of stuff. Because we were both living in Virginia. We were coming down here in the winter. I wouldn't even live in here. I'd moved away, and so we just went out and we fished, and I think like we won the non-pro division or something on one motor. You know, lost a motor off Deerfield, and they're like, "Oh, this is a good place to put the kites up." So, on the 31 CV, and then Jay and I fished in the Mid-Atlantic. You know, won the Pirates Cove tournament together. Won, you know, and Jay's. We just so when we started doing the stuff on the Native Son, Jay had been down, and you know, I was a charter client of Arts before we started fishing together and doing this stuff, and we'd had some fantastic days, and he just, you know, he wanted to be a part of it, and he flies from Virginia to fish these tournaments, and he's just, you know, he's just a fun guy. I mean, he's like, you know.
So he's from out of town all the time.
Yeah. He
Nice.
lives in Virginia.
But
And
he's
I'll
just
say
a
it
natural
1,000 times
fisherman.
over.
Yeah.
If you can hook white marlin on the troll, you can come down here and do this and hook these fish.
So when he and I white marlin fish, I'm on the right flat, he's on the left flat. Somebody else can do the stuff behind us, and we stand there all day. We pee with a rod in our hands. We eat with a rod in our hands. Like, we don't sit down. We fish hard, and that's how we kind of, you know, got into this stuff in the Mid-Atlantic together. And it's the same process sail fishing. You know, somebody who has the intensity to focus on anticipating a bite minute after minute, hour after hour, irrespective of the conditions. You know, rain, snow, sleet, hail, wind.
Which you get it all up there in the summertime. That's a crazy place.
You know, I mean, I remember Jay and I fishing a boat builders tournament together, and it's like pouring down rain, and you know, Jay.
I was there.
Yeah, Jay's out. We're standing on the flats, and like everybody's got their rods in the rod holders, and they're under the mezzanines or in the salon, and Jay and I are out there looking at each other, and you know, probably didn't even have shirts on, freezing to death, just like, let's get bit. And he's that type of guy. I mean, everybody on the boat is that type of person. Like, it's not, this is too hard, or I wish the weather was better, or, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so much easier fishing with you guys. Nobody's checking Facebook or it's really the focus
you see, like,
is
the sort of
fantastic.
older rod going like that. Yeah, that's kind of annoying.
Well, if somebody, and I was guilty of this when I first joined the team, was, you know, I might look down at my phone and all of a sudden there was something wrong with my bait. It was just Art's way of calling me out. He's very polite about it.
Going back to that comment you made too about the tournament fishing and learning the area and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like that really is a really good comment, I think, because, and I never really thought about it that way, but you know, I can honestly say that I didn't truly understand, like, especially sail fishing, like, until I started tournament fishing. Like, you really do get a completely different exposure to it and a different perspective to the entire process when you start fishing on tournament level, and then you bring that back to your fun fish days, and it's like changes your game entirely.
Well, and if you go fun fishing with us, there's no difference.
Right.
We might not have the team. Well, like, I don't think we fish any differently when we leave the inlet. We fish the same way. I know this guy does, and I think we do too. It's not like we're, you know, making sandwiches, watching TV, waiting for a bait to go off. I mean, we have the same level of intensity when we're fun fishing, because fun fishing is developing a skill. But for the people who don't want to be hardcore, you know, tournament fishermen, I still think, like, if you make the investment in the boat, and look, I fished. This is funny, but I fished my first Sailfish Challenge in 2010 in a 23-foot pursuit with my neighbors, with like a 50-gallon live well and some bought bait from the sands. Just because I was trying to learn how to fish down here. I came here from Oregon Inlet. You know, that's where I learned how to fish. And, you know, my brother was a mate in Pirates Cove back in the day, and I moved down here. I just wanted to do it to experience it, to see what it was like. And, I don't even know if we caught a fish that day because it used to be a one-day thing.
Yep.
But, you go learn how to fly the kite and you watch what people are doing. You go in the tackle shop and say, hey, I'm getting ready for a tournament. And maybe you get a little bit different advice than you would if you're like, hey, I'm going to go fishing with my buddies. And I think that for folks who, because, not everybody wants to be a hardcore tournament team. For folks who just want to fish in a local tournament and, putting up the base entry and getting your buddies together and going out and doing it is money well spent. Or,
No, I agree.
Shameless plug.
That's kind of more of my point.
Yeah, charter Art Sapp. If you live in Pompano Beach, call Art Sapp and charter him or one of these other guys and go fish with them. You're not going to learn how to, necessarily compete against the, top teams in tournament fishing in a one-day charter. But
technically, you'll learn what we're doing.
But
you're going to change your
learn,
perspective, though.
Yeah, you're going to change your perspective. You're going to fish with this guy. You're going to learn from him. And I'm not trying to plug his charter business. I'm just saying, for people that get frustrated that they go out of Hillsborough Inlet and it's hard to catch fish, because it's a hard place to catch fish, I think. Mm-hmm. Go fish with somebody who's local. And, you can charter the Native Son. Again, I'm just saying this, everybody's like, oh, what's it like to fish at North Art? Well, why don't you go charter him and find out for yourself? He's busy and whatever, but that's because I think people get too intimidated by how, it's a big deal with these tournaments and it's competitive and it's, but you can still have a piece of it. You can still have a part of it if you live here and you're not going to, go do what we do.
I agree. And people ask me that all the time about charters, and I'm like, and my first question is how far you want to take this? You know what I mean? You want to go with the guy? I can give you the guy. You know what I mean? But and then the conversation stems from there.
I think most everybody down here, when they first get a boat, the first thing they do is put out 4 pre-rigged ballyhoos and go troll around for dolphin.
Yep.
And then after a little while, you get tired of catching 30, 1.5 pound dolphin, and you're like, I need to
or
step
nothing.
this up. Or nothing.
Or nothing.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
Right. I mean, that's when I was a kid. We did. We had daisy chain rigged.
That's it. How everyone starts
ballyhoo.
out trolling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of get to the point where you realize it's different, and then you start fishing the tournaments, like you said. And I tell people all the time, you want to start tournament fishing, start with the charity tournaments. Mm-hmm. Super cheap entries.
Yeah.
A really great fun atmosphere. All these charity events are always a lot of fun. They put an awful lot into entertaining people, and then you work your way up.
A good one coming up is the Trash Can Slam.
Oh yeah, Michaela's done a great job with that.
You enter Michaela's tournament. That's the perfect tournament for that, for sure.
I encourage people to fish the Cove tournament.
The Cove tournament, for sure.
Tournament, where we're getting ready to start another one called the Florida Fury Foundation. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a late April. I talked them into doing late April. They want to do a dolphin tournament. I'm like, why don't we do a late April? It's kind of the end of sailfish season, but lately.
Sailfish
later.
Great later. Yeah.
Yep. But we got 2 more guys we got to talk about before.
Go ahead, roll it.
Sorry about the segue.
No, that's fine. No. That's fine. We're here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where are we going?
We're doing our thing.
Yeah.
So, Mikey Gullah,
the workhorse.
Yes, he is. So here's the crazy thing about Mike Gullah. He was, again, when Rob came on, Rob brought a couple of guys, and Mike has lasted through the changes as one of the guys that stayed when Rob came on. And in his junior year of high school, he was named the best football player in the state. Not the best defensive player, not the best linebacker in the county or anything.
Where did he go to school?
St. Thomas. And this dude is a athlete. I mean, top to bottom, phenomenal athlete. And sweeter than sugar and tatted from the bottom of his chin to his toes. So, I mean, he's an intimidating looking dude, but the nicest, sweetest, most loyal dude you've ever come across. And I've come to believe that athletic ability, that physical ability translates into fishing, because I think he may have missed 1 fish in the last 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that he does anything special. It's just rod in hand, do this. Okay, done.
Oh, he's got great focus.
And it's done. It doesn't matter. I mean, his physical ability is, he's a fireman now, which I guess helps out a lot with that physical ability, is second to none. Not to mention, if you ever gotten in a pinch, he's a really good dude to have around, because I don't think anything can hurt him.
Well, he did, he did sew my thumb back on.
There you go. Yep.
What?
Oh, yeah. I mean, anything comes up. The dude's
He was a linebacker or something at Florida, or defensive end or
Florida.
something.
No, linebacker. Florida linebacker.
He's a Gator?
University of Florida.
And,
Really?
and my son, he's like he's a gentle guy. Like, my son loves Mikey Gullah. Like, he went fishing with us the first time we took the boat out.
Yeah.
The Island Rover, and my son's like, "What about that Mikey guy? Is he coming back?" Like,
Yeah, he'll be around.
yeah.
And then Chad Troncalli, like I said, we got a giant group. And Chad Troncalli is a dude I actually grew up with from sophomore year of high school together. He went to college, University of Central Florida, with Keith McDonald, also another member of the team whom we got to talk about. He's a Russian bot now. He doesn't actually exist anymore. But whatever.
Right.
He moved to California and fell off the face of the earth.
He and Vince Verga, who owned the Liquid Boat, they were all in the same sorority up there at University of Central
fraternity.
Florida. No, bullshit. Those things don't exist.
They spent time in sororities.
No, it's all sororities.
Harris is from that same.
Yes, and Harris is
fraternity
one of the
there.
boys too. He's the same group there. Yeah. So when the Liquid Boat came along, I got reunited with Chad, who was a dear friend 1,000 years ago. So it's amazing. Again, reconnected by water in that scenario, and a phenomenally good dude. And he's pretty as they come until now all his hair's falling out. So age is starting to catch up with the poor bastard.
Yeah.
But that was always my joke. He's a pretty boy.
And
Throw it in there.
Keith is the most talked about guy, even when he's not there.
Oh.
So
Such
Keith
a
calls me today, and what were his first 4 words?
Oh, is it 4 words? Is that? Hang on. Oh God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank here.
I'll tell you, the last one's me.
Oh shit!
First words out of his mouth. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? There you go.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Come on.
He knows we've caught a fish before we do.
Yeah.
That's how much he's hitting the refresh button.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got some kind of trick that it just instantly alerts him or something. There's got to be something that goes on like that because literally I will put the phone down from calling a fish in, and we were way the hell up north, so it was all phone. The radio wouldn't reach, and he'd get a text instantly. I mean, I barely get it on the dash in front of him. Ding! God, keep it rolling. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Such a good dude.
There are more Keith McDonald quotes that are repeated on the boat than anybody.
Yep. But
Nice one.
Big one.
Nice one, big one. Or no, big one, nice one. However it goes, I can't keep up with all.
Degs rolls up, gull on the rod.
We got
400-pound blue marlin, big one, nice one.
He gets on a roll. The best thing you can do is break out a video camera and just
film
record.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snippets later are awesome.
And I don't think there's anybody more passionate and that loves it more than that dude.
No
But
doubt.
he's a Russian bot now. He moved to California. They did something to him. I don't know.
We may never see him again.
We never will. He's gone. We'll never see him again.
No, he'll be back.
No chance.
He'll be back.
What's
He'll be back.
Chad's line? We're not allowed to say that here. We probably are, but I won't say it with these guys here.
All right.
I'll save that for the next one. 'Cause I don't
Saving
mind
it for the
saying
next
anything.
one. All right. So listen. Let me bring this back full circle real quick.
Yep.
All right. We highlighted and spotlighted everyone on the team. We didn't really highlight and spotlight this guy, right?
Bernard.
So, Bernardicus.
Bernardicus.
I have many nicknames.
Are you not entertained? Yeah, I can see that, right? Bernardicus. So, you got Bernard on the boat, right?
Yep.
And we put you on the spot earlier, right? And so you guys got to put him on the spot. So, what's up with this guy? Right, and then we're gonna end it there, right? Because and then we're gonna wrap up the whole tournament talk that we were doing earlier, right? But I want to really talk about this guy for a second because a lot of people don't know. Right, I tell this story all the time. You know I do. I've known Bernard since before I was born, and that's the truth, right?
That make you feel young, Bernard?
So when no, here's the reason why. When his family moved here, right, from the Great White North, and my family moved here from the Great White North. It was 2 years before I was born. They moved right next door to each other, right? So technically, he knew me before I was born, right? When
I knew you before I spoke English.
Yeah, before you spoke whatever. It was from French Canadian
Yeah.
here.
I didn't
Yeah,
start
for
speaking,
sure.
I didn't start speaking English until I was like 7.
My father, listen to this. And neither did his father. My father literally went to go and be his translator to get his business licenses and everything like that when he was starting his business here in America. That's how far back we go.
Wow.
Right? So, and I love this guy like a brother, really. And I do truly. I know people say that sometimes, but that's actually the truth. I feel like I'm related to him. So, yeah. So anyway, this guy.
Well, I was going to say a bunch of bad stuff, but you guys are tight, so I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. No, Bernard and Art have known each other for a long time. Bernard and I have met the first time in
we were
Ocean City.
neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yep.
Yeah.
But then his house grew some kind of funky mushrooms all through the walls, and he left us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Art moved into our neighborhood in '99. I moved there in '97, and Jamie lived, a couple down from me, and then Art was across the street. And I never really got to know Art all that well because he was, always fishing, and
Right.
I was still busy, working 9 days a week and 42 hours a day.
Yeah.
But always had a huge respect for him, and slowly but surely got the chance to fish with him a few times.
And we won a tournament together a long, long time ago in your boat in the Bahamas.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep,
That was a fun
That
one.
was the first one.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think you coming to this team is kind of like it's an interesting thing, right? Because you're obviously an asset wherever you go, and that's the truth, right? Because just your experience, your wealth of knowledge, and your skill level in general, but also your work ethic that you've had your entire life. So to me, being on this team for you is a no-brainer, right? But you guys can take it away from there.
Well, we fished together in the White Marlin Open. I met Bernard in Ocean City for the first time.
Yep. So that's Mike and I were talking, and he asked, "We're going to do this." He had just recently bought a charter boat up there at Oregon Inlet, and he said, "I want to do this. Who should we involve?" And the first name, outside of Rob and Jim that were already on the boat that I thought of was Bernard. The guy has a passion for this stuff, and I think, and in the experience, I think he's the perfect guy. And we broached him with the thought, and of course, I'm in. What do I got to do?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I couldn't wait to go.
I bet. I bet. Yeah.
And, dude, we had a phenomenal tournament up there.
Yeah,
That
we
was-
did. We had a fun time. It was good. It was
Saw some amazing stuff on both in the ocean and
Yeah.
on that crazy ass boardwalk.
the
In the cabs.
and then we just got to know each other, and then
It was a no-brainer.
kind of said, hey, would you want to, because he was fishing some of this stuff on his own, and I was like, I forget who called him or how we talked about it, but somehow between Art and we said, hey, would you want to fish with us?
Mhm.
And he
And
said,
and he's right. I was fishing a lot of this stuff on my own, trying to run a business at the same time, trying to raise the kids at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's always last minute getting ready for a tournament.
Yep. I
And
can relate to that now. I mean, with the growth that the business is experiencing, I'm always choosing business first before anything. That's why I can never commit to a tournament right now.
Yeah, so the idea of
Yeah.
joining a bunch of guys who are
That's
equally
why
as
I suck at
passionate.
business.
You know how hard it is to find folks that don't get offended by. I can't take clients fishing because they all say the same thing. They're like, "No, you're too hardcore. This
Yeah.
is no fun."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What do you mean? This is
What
awesome."
do you mean hardcore is fun?
I mean-
Hardcore is fun.
Don't get mad at me because I make you do 10 push-ups when you miss a fish.
Yeah, right. I made his
That's
daughter.
where I got fired too. I used to freelance for him every now and then, and taking some of his clients fishing.
Yeah.
And there were some underlying circumstances at the time, and I was quite edgy. And we were like 0 for 9 or something. We get a bite like late in the day on the right long. Fish piles on the bait. And we talked about it. Feed him everything first. Well, the guy slams the gear and starts cranking. Well, fuck.
Yeah. Well, between
And
you,
we hooked it. We caught the only fish we caught the whole
Nice.
day.
yeah,
Just the intensity level.
I would have the same problems with Randy.
Yeah.
Randy's an awesome captain, but there were times where I'd be like, Randy, this guy's paying me. Leave him alone.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
At the time, I was told 2 or 3 days before that I had lymphoma. So that is not me. I don't yell ever,
what?
ever. Yeah, a doctor tells me I got lymphoma.
When was this?
Oh, when did I was? It was
That was like-
6 or 7 years
yeah,
ago.
that was
Maybe.
Really?
a while
Yeah.
ago.
It was total
God.
bullshit.
And you didn't?
No, they went in
That's
there
a
and cut a
mind
lip.
fuck.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. But whatever. Again, no, whatever. It'll be what it'll be. But I was edgy and.
You
and
think?
things were going sideways. But we caught some amazing dolphin and shit that day. We had every meat fish that bit we hooked, but we couldn't hook a sailfish.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but whatever. No, they cut one of them lip nodes out of there, and they said, "Damn, you beat yourself up a bunch. These things are just inflamed." Okay, I'm glad I don't have lymphoma, right?
Yeah, good thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah. One of the best things about fishing with these guys, though, is the levity. The fact that nobody gets beat up. I try to teach my kids that. It's like every mistake is a lesson. And it's
Yeah.
not something to be. It's something to be dissected. It's not something to be buried.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, he's on the show all the time, and that is always a recurring topic. Is the level head, like, don't yell, don't go crazy. Like,
Just
that kind of
yelling, you're
stuff.
losing.
I used to yell like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, to the point where people wouldn't fish with me, and it was misdirected passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'll raise my voice, and every now and then I feel like I got to let folks know I'm excited. And I think with what I'm saying, I'm never putting anybody down when I'm saying, this is happening, excitement, but never yell. You like I've seen and heard guys yelling down and cursing people, and that, no.
Belittling people. Yeah, no, there's none of
that's-
that.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're all adults here.
I mean, and the thing about art is, like, the guy still gets excited like it's his first sailfish.
Yeah. Well, you seen how pretty those bastards are. Look
Yeah.
at them.
I've been on boats where there's the captain literally got out from behind the console and shook the kite rod like he was strangling someone because we didn't have a kite up within like 5 minutes of the tournament start. And I'm like, I'm never fishing on this boat again.
Yeah,
Like, you've
that's
got to be
silly.
kidding me.
What are you showing?
Oh, that's nice. Did you take that picture?
No, that's a Steve Dougherty photo.
I was
cannot take
going to
photos
say
like
that's really.
Yeah.
Is that
That's great.
that fish at the end there?
Yeah, that's great.
And what's great is if you zoom in, you see the line coming across his bill right there.
Mm-hmm.
You see the tail. You know he's corner hooked in the mouth. It's just so awesome.
Perfect.
Nice.
Every single drop is in focus. I mean, that's just awesome equipment. Awesome cameraman.
This is Native Son, right?
Yep.
This is
I
what
live
I
over.
call, not you call, what I call the Tom Brady fishing teams. All right? I'm proud of you guys. All right?
Thank you.
I really am. I really do mean it. I'm proud you guys came onto the show today. 2 minutes after you won a tournament, basically, is probably what it feels like. All right? So, and Mike, I thank you
Thanks for
for
having me.
coming here today. Thank you for involving me in the process with this team on whatever level as the artist or whatever like that.
Yeah,
So I'm
no,
proud
it's
to be
really cool.
associated with you guys. Thanks for actually coming. Right, and
Got
coming
off
to
the
the
golf
show.
course.
So I'm glad you did. So
Well-
I've been trying to get you on the show for God knows how long. Right,
Yeah.
that's episode 75. You're finally here. So
Well, I'm just very, very proud and happy to be part of this team.
Yeah, you should
it's
be.
really an awesome experience, and I want to thank you for all the awesome art you've ever created for me that I proudly display.
oh, stop! Thank you for supporting the studio. I mean,
I still don't have one.
you're getting one soon, right? We talked about the mahi, but I got to get to it.
I figured this is the guy who spent his entire high school career sketching fish rather than paying attention.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, thanks for doing. I mean, the podcast is unique, and I think it's important because
It's fun, right?
yeah, like I don't want to, like, I was like, all right, I'll come do this, but it's fun, and I think it's good because it does connect people in the community, and gives people an opportunity to see that, that
That's why we do it.
Yeah.
It really is. And originally I'm like, yeah, it's a marketing tool, whatever like that. And we could grow it and we could probably put dollars behind the whole advertising of it, but we don't because I'm reaching the guys that I want to reach, which is our local community.
Third most consistent message I get is about the tournament
Is it really?
podcasts.
Those are our best episodes for sure. I mean,
I do have one question since I came late. Did you ever put Mike under the microscope?
the what?
Did you ever put Mike under the microscope?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
sorta. I mean, you go
kind of. We
backstory.
talked a little bit about Island Rover and the
This
family
is how I want to
background.
describe Mike Lamb.
All right, that's you
Mike
know what?
Lamb-
Thanks for bringing that up there.
Mike Lamb has more
tried.
class than most any other gentleman I've ever met, but he is constantly underestimated. And I think he knows that, and I think he kind of prides himself on that. But this guy is world-class human being, world-class
Yes, no,
father,
I
world-class
noticed that. I
husband.
noticed that very quickly.
Yeah, there's a reason that his company's as successful as it is, and he's the leader that he is. And the first time I met him, I was like, man, I've got to hang with this guy because this guy embodies everything I want to be. And he's freaking 10 years younger than me, which he's so far ahead of me. And I just want to say he's so underestimated because he goes out of his way to make sure he hangs on to who he is. So that's all I got to say about Mike Lamb.
The intellectual level. I mean, pick a subject, and I was trying because I know he hates all this shit. I was trying to avoid it all.
Yeah, look at him blush right now.
Yeah. But the intellectual level over here, from the stock market to business to pick a subject.
Yeah,
I
reading
mean,
people.
dude, they wanted him to go do what was this at Harvard or Yale or one of them to do a business something or another. It was all over my
Really?
head. I didn't understand a goddamn thing.
The guy
of it.
walks in here today calling himself a hillbilly.
He is.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that's what he takes most pride in.
I'm a hillbilly. I'm from the hills.
Absolutely.
he is.
So I had my 4 brothers on the boat last weekend,
That was awesome.
and when we were kids, like when I was a little like son's age, we would climb into a regular cab Toyota pickup truck in Virginia. We'd drive to Delta, Virginia, which is a coastal town. We would ride around marinas and just look for a boat that had been abandoned that had a tree growing out of it that one day we could dream about like going in the ocean in. We grew up fishing on 15-foot tri-hulls with electric shift OMC motors. You know, my dad was a minister and a mechanic, and we would buy boats and fix them, and you know, that's how we got on the water. And you know, we don't have time to talk about it, but like that's the name, that's the reason for the name of the boat. You know, he lived in the Bahamas in the 60s, and
The story his old man has.
you know, and so like for me, I mean, I'm still the guy who was bottom fishing the Rappahannock River in Virginia in a 15-foot tri-hull with my whole family catching food. I'm still the guy that was fishing on a 23-foot pursuit out at the steeple with, you know, 2 baits by myself just because I wanted to do it. And, you know, and I get to fish on, you know, I mean,
A Merritt.
a Merritt,
a CV.
a CV.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm still the same guy that I was when I was 10 years old riding around with my brother. I mean, like to have my brothers on the Merritt, like to pull into the Merritt boat yard and get out of my truck and walk up to my boat and get on it with Art Sapp as the captain, and for us to go fishing together, the 4 of us. I mean, we grew up poor, and my parents were great. I mean, we had a great childhood. We just didn't have money. We didn't have stuff. I mean, that's like, you know, more than I could have ever. I mean, I rode by that boatyard for 12 years living here saying, if I ever decide to get a big boat, I want to get one of Roy's boats, you know, like that's the only boat I ever wanted. I mean, I owned a Carolina boat for a while, but that wasn't like the boat that I wanted. So, you know, I'm just grateful that I get to be along for the ride. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm every time I leave the inlet on whatever I'm on. I mean, I was fishing on my buddy's 25-foot competition with no T-top, you know, the other morning, and
30 degrees.
But I think that's something that we all have in common as a team is we just love doing it. You
Yeah.
know? And the reason he knows that is because he was going bait fishing that morning on Dorado, you know, and it's just, you know, I love doing it. You know,
Thank you for putting them on the spot. That was really awesome. I like that a lot
wasn't
right there.
leaving here
You
without
had a lot
that.
of good things to say right there. That's good stuff. We're constantly drawing parallels between art and fishing on this show. Not Art Sapp, but artwork. Well, Art Sapp too, but and that is one area where I can chime in and say you talk about like the early days of growing up fishing the steeple and different things like that, which we all did. You know, but you know, no matter how big this thing gets or how complicated this thing gets or how advanced it gets, whatever tournament level, you compare that to artwork. No matter how big this gets or how advanced this gets, at the end of the day, I still got to put pencil to paper and draw.
mm-hmm.
You're a fisherman. You got to hook the fish. You still got to fish. You got to love it. Just because it's like there's all these lines out and you have these big boats now and everything like that, and it's all these complicated scenarios. You know what I mean? There's, you know, or bridges that are getting painted or whatever like that. At the end of the day, you got to
The work's gotta get
cycle
done.
it. Then the work's got to get done. Exactly. So
Those are the 2 passions.
Yeah.
One makes you money. One costs you money.
right, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Can't have one
Not
without
this
the other.
weekend.
Yeah,
And if you can blend that somehow, that's
yeah.
the magic.
That's the magic.
That's the magic.
That's
you
the
know?
magic. That's the magic. I want to thank you guys for coming today. Really,
Thanks for having us.
really,
Thanks for
really
having
means
us.
a lot.
Thanks for doing this.
Really means a lot.
And
No,
thanks for the invitation. I mean, honestly, it's special to be on here.
Appreciate that. I just, I want this show to grow. I want people to watch it. It would be nothing without the support that you guys give us. And I really, actually, I just want to add to that too. Him coming on the show as often as he does is huge. I never really say it to him, but I think he knows I feel this way. But it really is huge to get support on this show from a guy like him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he is one of the reasons why it's been able to elevate to the level that it has. He brings obviously knowledge, but he brings consistency, and It's appreciated art, so thank you.
I told you why I do it.
Yeah, I know.
It adds to what I'm trying to do.
I know.
Mentally.
But it's just, it just, I mean, there's no way to define actually, you know what I mean? But it just works, and I love it, and it's just great, and it just matters. So thank you. Right?
Thank you.
So,
And thank you, too, for letting me pursue my passion. Because without these guys, I'm still in a Conch 27 chasing meatfish up and down the beach, which I love dearly.
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nope, not
Yeah,
a damn
well,
thing
it's
wrong with it.
mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in the market for a new truck or a vehicle, which some of you out there are, or might be soon.
I'm in my lease, baby.
All right,
Time for me to go
so
see Joey again.
just go call Joey or call Dean, my buddy Dean over there at Joey Cardi Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. I love my Ram truck. I love my Ram Rebel. Not everyone at this table has a Dodge Ram, but
Two of
it's
us do.
okay. Two of us do, right? But I mean, it's a tough truck. I've never owned a Ram before in my life before this. Before I got one from Joey, but I quickly fell in love with this vehicle. So a lot of deals, a lot of good deals going on right now. You can take advantage of. And if you're thirsty, I suggest you get yourself a bottle of Papa's Pilar rum. They remind you never to be a spectator, right?
By the way, if
Yes.
ever you get to Key West, the best tour in Key West is touring.
Oh,
Their-
1,000%.
It is an
Yeah.
awesome tour.
Yeah, the distillery down there is amazing. I want to bring up the sherry cask. They just released it last week. One of the unique things about Papa's Pilar is it's actually aged in bourbon barrels. They did do a run that was aged in sherry casks.
Huh.
Really unique flavor.
I
We
bet.
got one bottle of it up there. Probably should have broken it out for this episode, but I didn't. Sorry. But actually, so go check that out. Also, if you're hungry, check out our good friends at Papa's Raw Bar and Papa Migos. They always got some good stuff brewing. Please, please, please. And if you're offshore, all right, and you're without an EPIRB, which you shouldn't be, look up our friends at ACR. They got all your safety equipment
Yeah.
that you need. We all have heard horror stories of people that never came back, but we all have also heard stories of victory where people were rescued, and it was because of these devices. Very important to
When
have.
those two boys were lost offshore in Jupiter,
Yep.
my kids have never gone offshore again without an ACR in the boat.
Yeah. So
They-
it's
scared them to
essential
death.
equipment.
Yeah.
Essential equipment.
Mhm.
So, all right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Right?
you.
Your ego is not your amigo. Right? Always do your best, and then let God do the rest. And then don't ever forget that no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're always
Connected
Connected
by water.
by water.
thank you.